All right then. So now what we have to do is we have to create this nice UI just like the same way what we did over here in our demo page. So let's go ahead and create that. So in order to do that, so I need to navigate into my the page.tsx of our job ID page, and I'm going to close all the other files, close others. Okay. So in this, the first what we need to do is I'm just going to make sure the ID, whatever the ID which is coming inside, which is matching the criteria of the MongoDB ID, because MongoDB ID will expect it should have 12-byte hexadecimal string like this, 12-byte hexadecimal string. If the user trying to search something like randomly something like 123 or something, we are not supposed to allow the user to get back over here. See, now if I am typing like this, it is coming inside as 123. Like we are not supposed to do that. So we are not supposed to allow the user to come back by typing any random ID and get into that website and to crash our site. So in order to protect that, what we need to do is, so I need to check whether the job ID is a valid MongoDB object ID or not. So this is the place where we are going to verify the MongoDB ID. So we need to verify the MongoDB object ID. So how we are going to do that in this in order to do that, we need to create a regular expressions which matching the MongoDB ID. This is how it should be. So it should contain 0 to 9 as a digit, any digit, A to F and A to F, something like this. Okay, and it should, this is how it should be 24 digit. This is how MongoDB object ID contains that pattern. This is the pattern of the MongoDB object ID. So please take your time and type it carefully. Then what I need to do is, if not valid object ID regular expression dot test, we need to send our object ID inside params dot job ID, send that ID. If it is not matching that, then what I need to do, I need to return the user, redirect from where, next to navigation, import it from there. I'm going to return the user to admin slash jobs page. This is what going to happen. So now if the user directly types any random ID, he will be navigated to the jobs page over here. So next, what I need to do, I need to make sure whether the user is authenticated or not. So const user ID. So I need to fetch the user ID from where, the auth, make sure it's from the Clerk Auth Next.js server. Okay, save the changes. Then if we don't have that user ID, if not user ID, then what I need to do, I need to return the user, redirect the user to the home screen. Okay, slash, simply slash. If we do have everything, then what I need to do, I need to fetch that particular job details. So const job equals to await and bring your database instance db dot, I need to fetch the job dot find unique, use this function to find that unique. So I'm going to supply the var condition where the id should be params dot job id, and as the same way it should matches the user id, so user id. Okay, save these changes. Now if we don't have job, also we need to check a condition. If we don't have any specific job, if not job, what we need to do, we need to return the user to the slash admin slash jobs, something like this. Okay, so now you can see that we are not being redirected because we do have the user ID and we do have the job in our hand, because this is a valid object ID which I copied from this MongoDB object ID over here, right? Cool. Now what we need to do is we need to fix the required fields. Over here you can see we have the 4 required fields, which are title, tags, image URL and the category. These are the 4 required fields for the time being. Maybe you can change your record fields as much you want, that's up to you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create const required fields equals to required const required fields equals to, it should be an array. So job dot title, that's a required field. Then job dot description, that is also a required field. Job dot image URL, that is also a required field. Then job dot yeah, for the time being, let's keep it as. Later, once you start added the category ID and all those things, we can make some changes over here. Right now, I'm just going to keep it as it is. Okay, so over here now what we need to do is first I need to figure out how many total fields are the required fields. So total fields equals to required fields dot length, that's the total field length. Then const completed fields, how many fields are being completed. Completed fields equals to required fields dot filter, open it, we need to use the boolean dot length. So what we are saying, making sure over here is if that field has its value, the boolean value returns as a true, because of course it's going to have a value. So if it is true, then means it is completed. That's the reason we are using the boolean value over here. So const completion text. So const completion text, it's going to be dynamic string literals, square brackets. So over here, what I need to do, I need to display the completed fields slash, then I need to display the total fields. That's how you can able to display the text, something like this. How many fields are being completed, how many fields are not being completed. Okay, then const is complete equals to required fields dot every array field should have that boolean value as true. Okay, then only it should be changed to true. All right, so now we let's bring this title and as well as this action buttons over here. So in order to do that, I'm gonna delete this division completely, div, make it as an empty div. And inside here, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna mark this padding as 6. Then inside here, let's bring the link tag, link, next link, href, which is going to be slash admin slash jobs. And here we need to create a div, and inside the div, I'm gonna bring an arrow which is going to be left side, something like this, to display something like this. Okay, then we are going to bring the text as back. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna say flux item center gap 3, save the changes, and text sm text neutral 500, something like that. And for this arrow left, class name width 4, height and 4, save the changes. Okay, this is how it should looks now. Now if you click this, it will take you to the previous page. All right, then right after this link, this is the place where we need to display the title. Okay, so I'm going to create a div, and that is going to be class name flux item center justify between, and margin top, it's going to be 4, enter. And inside here, I'm going to create one more div, class name flux and flux column. Okay, and what we need to do, we need to bring the gap y between these two objects should be 2. Now here I'm going to bring the h1 tag, which is going to say job setup, something like that. So then for this, I'm going to say class name, let's say text size should be 2XL, then font should be the medium bold, save the changes. And right after here, I'm going to bring the span tag, and that is going to be complete all fields, something like this. And here I need to display the completion text which we have generated over here. So save the changes. Now you should be able to see here title field is already complete. That's the reason out of 3 field we completed 1. It's showing like that. Cool, right? Then for this, what we need to do, class name, and it's going to be text size, it's going to be small size, then text neutral 500, save these changes. That's how it looks. Okay, I think that is pretty much enough now. Okay, so we finished that options. Now inside this division, the outer division, this is the division where it's been ended. So here we need to bring that action buttons. What are the action buttons that we need to do to unpublish the job, and as well as the publish and unpublish the job, and as well as the delete that particular job? These are the actions that we need to do. Okay, so here now what we are going to do is, let's say job public publish actions. That's the component that we are trying to create now. So let's go ahead and try and create that particular component. So where we can do inside this job ID, I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to name it as a components folder. And inside this folder, I'm going to create a new file, and there I'm going to say job publish actions.tsx and mark it as use client, then RAFC job publish action. Save these changes and let's get back over here and let's import it over here. Save it, and now you should be able to see the job publish actions at the right side over here. Look at that, it's working. Then let's get back over here. So in order to mark it as a publish, what are the fields that you need to have? We need to get the boolean, because whenever the form is being submitted, this button needs to be disabled. So one boolean value and one, which is one. Next one is going to be your job ID, which job ID that we are going to publish, and two, whether that is already published or not. If it is already published, then we need to display it as an unpublished, right? So we need three different values. So let's go ahead and create that interface. So interface job publish actions props. These are the props that we are planning to create. So disabled, first one is going to be the disabled, which is going to be the boolean value itself. Then job ID, and that is going to be string. Then is published, and that is going to be the boolean value. Save the changes and let's extend those things over here. Just from where job publish props, I'm gonna extend the field as disabled, then I'm gonna say job ID, then I'm gonna say is published. So let's get back over here to the page.tsx. So over here now what I need to do, job ID, which is going to be your params.job ID, then is published, of course it's going to be job dot is published field, then disabled is going to be not is complete. So it's need to be disabled whenever the field or not required fields are not completed. So only if it is true, when it will be true, if all the fields are completed, it will not be disabled. Okay, so save the changes. It should be quite opposite. Okay, if every fields are completed, then we should not disable this button. If the required fields are filled automatically, then we need to release this button. So you should use the opposite of the current value. All right, fine. So let's get back to the job publish options. So now inside here, if you have a closer look over here, what we have two different buttons. So let's get over it and let's create the two different buttons over here. So for this division, what I'm going to do, class name flex item center, and the gap exit is going to be 3. And instead of this text, what we are going to do, we are going to bring the button, and inside that button, what I'm going to say, if is published, so I need to say unpublish. If it is not published already, then we need to say publish. So for this, what we are going to do is variant of this button is going to be the outline, then disable. When it needs to be disabled, it's need to be disabled whenever, so we don't have the state. So what we need to do is this button needs to be disabled by the time whenever you're making some actions by clicking the publish or unpublish. So I'm going to create a state to monitor the loading state. So is loading, and by default it's going to be false. Okay, this needs to be disabled whenever this disabled state is also true or is loading is also true. Okay, so that's the reason we have the two different. So this is coming from where? From your parent, which is going to be the page.tss, which is checking this completed fields check. So if it is not completed, this disable is going to be true. And this is to monitor when I'm clicking this action, I'm gonna make some loading animations and all those things. At that point, it's need to be disabled for that. Okay, so then size of this button, of course, I'm gonna keep it as a small size, small. Save these changes and let's get back over here. You can see now the publish button is being disabled because we haven't completed any field. All right, so and for this we need to have the on click event also. So what I'm going to do is on click, which is going to map this particular on click, which we haven't created it. So const on click is equals to a callback empty function for the time being. Then right after here, next what I need to do, I need to bring one more button, which is going to be the variant as destructor. Then size, of course, it is going to be the icon size, and it's need to be disabled by the time when it's need to be disabled is loading state. If it is true, then on click, whenever I'm clicking it, I'm going to call this function called on delete. Enter, and here I'm just going to have this trash icon, class name, width is going to be 4 and height is going to be 4. So I don't have this function yet, so I'm gonna copy const on delete function to delete the action. Let's keep that function as an empty for the time being. This is how it looks. So if I wish to delete that job and all those things, I can able to delete it through here, and that is what we need to do. Okay, so don't worry, we will do that part later. And next what we need to do is we need to display this awesome grid section over here, where we can display make sure that we can able to edit this title and each and every field separately. So we are going to create all those sections separately. So let's go ahead and start doing that.